Hi there, this is Beck Lee, playwright, press agent, mischief maker from New York, and I'm talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon on Days Gone By on the incredible UNC Radio.
Oh, shalom, my friends. This is your old buddy, Rabbi Sol Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I have been trying for so long to become famous, to get the wealth and the riches and the women and the fame and the women that would bring me some level of joy in this world. But it's just me. I can send an email, I can do a Facebook, a Twitter, or whatever the hell you call it, but I don't have that press agent working on my behalf. I don't have the person who's gonna go out there and really promote whatever it is the hell that I do. But I'm going to be talking to someone who does for a living taking theater and sometimes movies and people that nobody knows about and trying to get the world and critics and newspapers and magazines to know about them. That is what a press agent does. Another thing a press agent does is go on the radio with us here in the neighborhood. His name is Beck Lee. And he is also a playwright, by the way, so we'll be talking to him right now on the telephone all the way from New York. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Beck Lee. Shalom, Beck.
Rabbi Sol, it's great to hear your voice and to be on the phone with you.
If I were looking for perhaps an adverb, your name would work. It's like if you do something in a Beck sort of way, you're doing it Beck Lee. I like that. Beck Lee, in a Beck-like fashion.
Beck likes that.
Yes. Beckish.
Oh, Rabbi,
Beck Lloyd.
I have been putting people on your show to talk to you. I don't even know if you know some of the people because, I'm always behind the scenes. And I make arrangements with your producer, that fellow Dave, who's great.
Oh, what an asshole. Yeah.
The opportunity to speak with you directly like this.
Oh, I know.
Listened to you on the radio many times, but I've put my clients on your show to speak with you to make them famous so that the rest of the world can know about their incredible activities. But I'm always in the shadows. I'm the one who just, makes a couple of very important calls. I pitch my clients to your producer.
And some of your clients are sons of bitches, yes?
Most of them are, and they're fringe characters, some of them. Some of them are very famous, or used to be very famous, and are now, in sharp decline.
Ooh, let's start naming names. Whom would you be talking about specifically here?
Oh, my God. These are not current clients.
Oh, even better. So you have no.
What I like about this, Rabbi, first of all, I am so grateful for your open-mindedness.
Oh, me? I'm the most narrow-minded Jew in the universe.
Exactly. But you have an open-door policy about the people that you want to abuse on the radio and the people you don't want to understand, the people whose opinions you disagree with, and whom you disrespect without them knowing it. You do that so well that you have an open door policy, which is amazing. That's what's great about this show and what you do.
Thank you. I mean, I am what you would call a hater, or my people would say a hater. I spread. Donald Trump is nothing compared to me. I bring the hate with love. Is what I do.
An equal opportunity hater.
Are you trembling with delight to talk to me?
I am. I'm on my knees right now.
Oh, well, then you must be Roger Ailes. But, Beck Lee.
Yes.
Name some of them, maybe the dead. Some dead people that you worked with who were either wonderful or terrible.
I think most famously Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, yeah.
I got you that one.
You did. That is one of the most famous things we ever did. He hung up within 30 seconds of my saying hello. Literally. He heard the word damn it, I think, and he said, I don't want to do this. And then he slammed the phone down and started beating up somebody on stage or something.
I call him sometimes to try to get him to do something, because I'm very opportunistic with Mandy Patinkin. I don't work for CBS. I didn't work for the Public Theater when he was in Wild Party, but I sometimes have clients where he's doing like a benefit or something, and that's when I could jump in and I try to get something to happen with you, Rabbi Sol. And that was probably for the folks being a Yiddish theater a few years ago.
Right.
So we didn't have strong connection, and I told him about you, and I maybe forgot to mention that you had that you're
I'm insane, basically, yes.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I have serious mental issues that I project on everyone around me. Yes, you might have mentioned that.
I forgot to mention that you have more issues than he has.
I don't know if that's possible, but...
Oh, no, he's crazy. He's got, I don't know, impulsivity issues or something, because I saw him at an incredible concert that he headlined. It was a benefit for folks being a couple of months ago at Jazz at Lincoln Center, and he heckled an audience member. He went after an audience member for arriving late, tried to get the audience member, shamed him into trying to get him to donate. He was 20 minutes late. He asked him for $20,000, shamed him in front of the whole audience, and wouldn't stop until somebody else in the audience said, "Let it go." It was really, but it was exciting. It was dramatic. It raised some hackles, some awareness. Not so much money, but it was really fun.
And an awareness that New York cab drivers can sometimes be a little late getting to a theater. Seriously, nobody wants to be late to the theater. Sometimes it just happens.
That he was a little bit. Well, I don't know. He was not a cab driver.
No, he may have come in a cab. He may have been trying to get through traffic going to the...
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you mean. No, he was a Wall Street guy.
Oh.
He was very well dressed, and he was just borderline 30 years old, so he really deserved to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin was wanting to publicly shame him like you wouldn't believe. It was really incredible. Anyway, Mandy Patinkin, let's see, you got Ed Asner because of me.
That's true. No, Ed Asner was wonderful. He was crusty, part crusty, part avuncular. So he was crust-vuncular. It was marvelous. I loved Ed Asner. And I think he loved me. He's been sending me flowers.
Did you interview Jade Barrymore because of me?
I've never spoken to Jade Barrymore. No, not that I would never speak to...
Yeah. Mary Wilson of the Supremes?
No! You bastard! You could have gotten me these people!
I've been holding out on you here.
I know this. I know. Who else haven't you gotten me that you could have, you bastard?
Oh, no, I wouldn't hold out on you, Rabbi. This is... whatever.
Any ex-presidents there? Anybody holding out to one of the Beagles, perhaps? Yaffa Yarkoni? I don't know. What?
No, I really would love to see somebody like John Lennon or Paul McCartney, but
John Lennon would be a gift.
I'm not that big.
John, if anybody could get me John Lennon, that would be really amazing and smelly. But I would do it. I would totally. Yeah.
Oh, Rabbi.
Heck, I'd settle for Pete Best if he was still alive, for crying out loud. Or even Pete Worst.
He wouldn't hang up on you.
No, he would not.
Forever.
Oh, no. No, he'd want to be in my band. Little klezmer outfit called the Schmeckles. We're pretty good, actually. We're getting our beat together. It's sort of a bossa nova, klezmery kind of polka-y hip-hop thing.
Yeah.
With didgeridoo.
Definitely.
It's great. So who are other people? Now, we know Mandy's a crazy asshole, but who else?
That's what you call a get, right?
Well, Mandy was a get. Ed Asner was a get. Annulled marriage is a get. Who else? You got that. You're not even Jewish. You got that. Okay.
I get about half of your jokes, and that, makes me, deliriously happy.
Oh, boy. I'm glad for that, because I live to make you happy, Beck. You obviously don't live to make me happy, since you've been holding back some of your most interesting clients. I'm not saying Jade Barrymore is,
Jade Barrymore, that was a while ago. You may not have been on the air yet.
Well, I've been on the air for 14 goddamn years.
You might have still been in Israel, going to the yeshiva or something.
Right, and she still probably looked like a person, so you never know. I'm kidding, I kid. So
I was on the Howard Stern show.
Whoa!
This was my other... See, I was famous a little bit as a press agent because I had Jay Barrymore, Drew's illustrious mother, who was in Grandma Sylvia's funeral for 4 years.
Mazel.
That was really the highlight of her career.
And by the way, you're not talking about an actual show. This was her grandmother Sylvia. She died, and it was just a very long funeral.
Yeah. It was the longest running funeral in history.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was after that, so the people at Howard Stern's show knew me and knew that I could deliver the goods. And so I had Carol Shia be, kind of a small budget movie that I was repping. Carol Shia was the New York City police officer who posed in Playboy, and Rudy Giuliani took issue with that and fired her. But that definitely endeared her to Howard Stern. So she was a real, get for him. And she was in this movie in which she played a woman who was, I guess, a detective who had a lesbian love scene in the shower. A lesbian love scene in the shower. So the producer said to me, well, what are we going to do for publicity? I said, well, maybe Howard Stern would agree to help you cast the role of the woman that she has an affair with.
Oh, I would have played that role in a heartbeat.
Right?
Yes.
So that was a great idea, and I ran it by the producer over there, and they said, sure, Howard would love to do that. And so the producer of the movie said, Beck, go ahead, do it. Set it up. We'll have a casting call, and whoever... do I have to hire the person who wins the casting, gets the role on Howard Stern? I said, of course you do. I mean, come on, don't be stupid. If Howard Stern picks this woman, and he said, well, what if she doesn't act? I said, well, can't act. I said, well, Carol can't act either.
I mean, it's a shower scene between women. We don't need acting there.
So
all you need is soap.
They arranged it. I arranged it. I had
or maybe a diaphragm.
With Carol.
Right, yeah.
Carol went into the studio, and then they said they had, all these women waiting that they had gotten. They lined them up outside, and they were going to come in one at a time, and they were going to do a scene with Carol and then make out with her.
Oh, yeah.
And Carol said, well, wait a second. What, the make out? What do you mean make out? And Howard was like, well, of course. Aren't you going to see if you're going to have some chemistry with them? And she said, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to do the scene. I have to see if the chemistry is of the acting. And Howard said, no, wait a second. Didn't that press agent guy make it clear to Gary, our guy, that you were going to make out with the... And she said, no, he did not make that clear. Hearing this, I'm like pulling my hair out. What, is she crazy? Of course I cleared that.
Oh, you did?
I might have soft-pedaled it a little bit. I didn't go and say you're going to tongue each other and go crazy and rip each other's clothes off. I might have said something that was, like, not going to raise a flag with her, but I still, And anyway, you know what? Howard Stern got really pissed, and he told Gary to get that press agent in here right away. And they grabbed me and they dragged me into the studio and put me under, gave me the fifth degree. And Carol's like, you didn't tell me. And I was really put on the spot. And I said, well, Carol, if it would make you feel any better, why don't, this is important. Why I will agree to make out with Gary.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that curveball.
Howard went from hating me to loving me right on the spot because, of course, Gary's look of astonishment was priceless, and I was making
oh no!
Yeah, and this was on TV. This is when the Howard Stern show was on E. They made it into a double episode, like a to be continued episode. Because I was taking my shirt and unbuttoning it and getting ready to make out with Gary to show Carol how easy it is to be a heterosexual and make out with a person of your same sex. And I was saying to Carol, see, it's okay, you know. And what I didn't know is that Carol was actually, unbeknownst to all of us, becoming a lesbian.
That's a Howard Stern clap right there.
Right?
And did you give her the clap? That's the question. But let me ask you. So I don't remember the episode there. You did French, Boy Gary, Baba Booey?
No, it didn't. It never happened. But see, you know.
How did you get out of it?
Well, Gary got out of it. I stood there and was showing that I was ready. My ass was on the line.
Well, that would have been later in the show, yeah.
Rabbi, press agents will do stuff like this.
I guess.
So as a playwright, I'm trying to rehabilitate myself and actually have a career that I can be proud of for my son. But
the son who can go back and watch an episode of E when you're taking off your shirt and getting ready to give Gary Delabate some oral loving just to get this unknown playgirl woman cop on the Howard Stern show. Oh, your son must be so proud of you.
Well, no.
It's a wonder he doesn't just put a plastic bag over his head and pull. Gewalt. Oh my God!
You know, it's hard. I have to live with this.
I hear it. Indeed, you do. Oh my God!
This is not easy. This is not easy being a press agent. There's really not so much respect for this profession.
We can see why. I mean, really. Oh, God. Now, that is not the crazy... We'll get to your playwriting in a little bit. But that is also just one of the crazy things you've done. To publicize a movie or a client or a theater piece that you are representing as a press agent, Beck Lee. What's another stunt that you had to pull?
Well, my most recent attention-getting ploy really got a lot of attention, and I'm not exactly sure if it helped or hurt. It certainly hurt me.
What were you going to deep throat Chris Christie? What? Because you have to top yourself. I mean, what else can you do? So what did you do recently? What's the latest in Beck Lee's arsenal of gimmicks?
It was September 2014, actually.
Oh, I remember it well.
And I'm still feeling the pangs of regret over this one. I mean, it was really, it goes to show you how timing is so important. It was a great stunt. It really got a lot of attention, but the timing was off by about 4 weeks. If I had only waited about 4 or 5 more weeks, maybe 2 months, it wouldn't have backfired the way it did.
Is this the Brad Zimmerman thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we should explain. Brad Zimmerman has been on this radio program. I interviewed him. He was doing a one-man show called My Son, the Waiter. He was going to do it for a couple of weeks. It became quite popular. They kept it going. He's now doing it in London, I think. And Beck Lee, the press agent to whom I am speaking and yelling, is the person who set up the interview with Brad Zimmerman. But the be-all and end-all was not just getting Brad Zimmerman on my show. You had to get word out about that off-Broadway one-man show to the world. So how did you do that?
Well, let me just say that getting him on the show was part of my rehabilitation. It was part of me getting back on his good side. So you helped a lot, Rabbi Sol, because he thought that was a good interview, that was wholesome, by comparison.
Wholesome?
Well,
okay.
I put it, very wholesome by comparison to what I put him through in September 2014 when, before I even met him, I was on the job. I was working on his show, My Son the Waiter, a Jewish tragedy. It was going to open at the Triad Theater on the Upper West Side, and he was finishing the tour on the West Coast in like San Diego or something. He was scheduled to come back to New York and start the New York run in October, so we were a couple of weeks before his impending arrival in New York. but we were really promoting the show to get, people aware of it as best we could. And so one of the things that I had arranged was Brad had become a favorite of Joan Rivers as an opening act, and she had used him a few times, and she said he's the best opening act that I have in his price range.
Okay. That's still a pretty great compliment. From Joan. I mean, that's wonderful.
Well,
okay.
She loved Brad, and I knew how to get a hold of Joan.
Oh, did your tongue kiss her too? No, I'm kidding. Could you even find her mouth? Was it pulled all the way up to her forehead at that point? I'm kidding. Okay.
I don't want to see,
She's dead! We can make fun of her!
I approached this story with some trepidation because, I really did I hurt some feelings. I ruined some friendships. It was a real disaster.
Oh, boy.
I really have to tell you, though, in the end, I learned something about stunts that I didn't know. You have to have that level of reasonable deniability. You really have to take that seriously, Like these guys with WikiLeaks and everything, they're never going to tell you where they got something, And people respect that,
Oh, yeah, I'll never tell you where I got gonorrhea. Never. Twist my arm, it won't happen.
Julian Assange or whatever his name is.
No, I didn't get it from him.
Oh, really?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay, so that's...
I think it was Carol Shea, actually. She looked good out of that uniform, let me tell you. Okay, but continue. I'm interrupting, I'm sorry.
Her husband, who was a sergeant in the New York City Police Department, I think was the last man that she had. So the reasonable deniability thing, I basically approached Joan Rivers to do a commercial for the show, and we wrote the commercial, and she was going to do it and basically tear the commercial to shreds. That was like the gimmick, and she loved it, and so she was planning on doing it, except that she was scheduled to do the commercial, to record the commercial on the morning she went in for her procedure.
Right, the one that ended up...
killing her.
Right, okay. The one that stilled the rivers, as it were, yeah.
Yeah, it was... So when the news got out that she was in a coma, Dana Matthau, the producer of My Son the Waiter, a Jewish tragedy starring Brad Zimmerman, called me up and said, "Did she do that commercial yesterday?" And I said, "No." "Well, did she do that commercial very early this morning before she left her apartment?" And I said, "No." "So when did she do the commercial?" And I said, "Well, Dana, she didn't do the commercial. She's going to have to do the commercial when she gets out of her coma."
Right.
When she gets out of her coma, she can do the commercial, okay?
That's kind of the way Gary Busey operates, but okay, yes.
So, I'm reliving this, Rabbi. It's very hard. So what I did was I told the producer that she would do it when she came out of the coma, but as I guess you know, because you're very, on top of it.
Oh, I'm up on these things. Oh, yeah.
You're up on all the news.
When Jews die.
Right. She never came out.
Yeah.
Rivers never came out of her coma. So she did not do the commercial. And the producer who was really counting on this, said, "Beck, I'm going to kill you." No. He was like, this is terrible news. This is so terrible. And then I said, "Well, wait a second, Dana. I just got something from somebody that I don't know if we're going to be able to use it, but the sound quality is a little bad, but she did a rehearsal, a scratch recording in her apartment maybe on her iPhone or something. She actually did a rehearsal, a scratch recording of the commercial, and I've got it."
Okay.
And he said, "What? You've got it?" I said, "Yes, and it's really good because she does the commercial and she has a sore throat, and not only does she knock the commercial, but she's like coughing and choking and stuff and saying she has to go." He's like, "You've got to be kidding." Well, I said, "No, I'm not kidding." Well, I said that a few times, but then I said, Dana, because I played it for him, he was like, "This is unbelievable." that doesn't really sound like her. I said, well, Dana, it's her. He's like, it sounds like an impersonator a little bit. Don't you think? I said, well, it is an impersonator, Dana. What do you think? I'm like a God? Rabbi Sol? I can't perform miracles.
Can we talk? See, I can do it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh, Edgar.
did it for me. You were the one who did. No, I did a fake recording of her doing the commercial, and...
No, wait. Hold it. Stop. Did you have that scratch tape of hers and it was unusable, and then you decided to do a fake one? Or did you not even have that scratch recording? You just had the idea of a fake Joan Rivers doing it?
I had the idea.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah.
I can see why you lost.
Yeah,
all right, okay.
I had the terrible idea. The terrible genius idea, because it was funny. What I felt, when I did it was, wow, she would like this. She would think it was hilarious because it's so irreverent, with her raspy voice complaining about, she has a sore throat. Well, that was like that was part of why it was so stupid to put it out there. Basically, it was not even 2 weeks after she died. I mean, she'd just been buried, Rabbi. Her grave was still,
The plastic hadn't even melted off her yet. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I released it with Page Six. Page Six was very excited about being the first to...
For our Colorado listeners, I should mention, I think you're talking about the column in the New York Post called Page Six.
Yeah, the New York Post, the gossip column, where I used to have friends, and they released it, and it went viral, and, basically, all their people, because it had the potential to be a smoking gun, place that did the procedure, people were wondering, what did they do to her, and what was her condition, and so all of a sudden there was this recording of her voice the morning of. It was purported to be the morning of, before she went in, or the night before, and it was like, all of a sudden, all these lawyers jumped on it, and her press agent, Judy Katz, went ballistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knew it was a fake, but that made them even more enraged. So what they did was they accused Brad Zimmerman of being behind the whole thing for his show. And what a traitor he is to do this to his beloved Joan Rivers. And Brad Zimmerman, who had never even talked to me. No, he had talked to me on the phone, but he never set eyes on Beck Lee. He didn't even know, if I was, Asian or not. He was now being accused from 3,000 miles away of being behind this thing that he had not even heard. Actually, I told him that I had the scratch recording, and so I was trying to keep him in the dark.
So you lied to him too. Lied. I'm sorry to use that word, but even he didn't know it was a ruse. He thought you had that recording. Oy. Okay.
And so this is when my life got very complicated in the matter of minutes. That morning, I got a call from Good Morning America, like at 5 in the morning, because they released it, No, actually, what am I saying? It was 2 in the morning, because they released it around midnight, and these producers, they're on top of these things. So I got a call from Good Morning America, then CNN, and I knew I was off to the races, but I didn't realize that this Judy Katz was going to, make these accusations. So Brad was being thrown under the bus, and this didn't look good. So I told the producer, I said, listen, let me try to get Brad on some of these shows, like Inside Edition and Entertainment Tonight. He did it, and he was fantastic. He denied that he said he didn't have anything to do with it, and he stood up for himself, and he got himself in the clear. But I had to, this is the thing about the deniability. I took the fall, and I told Page Six that I'd made it up and that I'd faked it, and boy, did they go crazy on me, because the next day I was called a lot of names.
Were you ever sued?
No, I was warned to take it off of YouTube. It was on. It got like 70,000 hits
Probably in a day, or not even in a couple of hours.
Well, it was a day.
Now, did you do? Who did the Joan Rivers voice, by the way? Who did you get to do it? Oh, is that a mystery?
I've never disclosed that.
But it wasn't you. Did you got somebody else, or could it have been you?
When it wasn't you.
It was not I. No, it was not. I'm just wondering if we need to have the Russians hack your computer to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to keep her out of it.
Oh, yeah, at least you got a woman, okay, because a female impersonator could do Joan Rivers probably better than a woman could. Yeah. In fact, Carol Shea, right, a lesbian now, would probably have done Joan Rivers, but in a rather different way. We're talking with Beck Lee here, the press agent and playwright, talking about the worst mistake he ever made as a press agent, although, can you say, not so much for you, but let's say for Brad Zimmerman in that situation, there's no such thing as bad publicity. His show did extend, it did run for months.
You know what? This is why I'm a little bit. It's a little bit challenging for me because from a moral standpoint, I think that was this disrespectful? Was this? Yeah, it was. Did I? But see, if I had been able to deny it and say, well, I don't know where that came from, so I just got it. David Merrick would have made sure that there were no fingerprints on that, right? I mean, he would have done that, and nobody would have known. So I did it, and my fingerprints were all over it. Really, the show ended up running for 15 months. It was really a fun show, but we did put it on the map. In that sense, I think, I sort of look at this with mixed feelings. Like, I did really screw up. From a personal, moral standpoint, I burned some bridges. I ruined some friendships. 3 friendships were ruined. I feel bad about that.
Well, now that the show is going to London, are you going to get Jimmy Niederlander to call in? I'm kidding.
And they kept me. The producer said, I love you. You do. This is great. He was loving it. But I stayed on that. So that was a good account for me, and Brad and I get along great. He didn't know what to make of me at the beginning. I think his manager tried to get me fired.
It was naughty on your part, you have to admit. But you did something for you. We were talking a little bit before about Grandma Sylvia's funeral. Before it was about Jade Barrymore, but didn't you do something kind of kooky for that? And not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Just something zany.
A lot of things for that.
Yeah. Like?
I did a lot of things for that. Grandma Sylvia's funeral, I suggested to the producer, it's actually the same producer, Dana Matthau, Walter Matthau's nephew. I suggested to him, and this was in 94 or something, that he should get a hearse. He should buy a hearse and put a sign on it and have a recording of Grandma from the beyond telling people to go to her funeral already. Within a day, he had a used hearse, and he was putting signs on it, and we loved that hearse because it really got a lot of attention for the show. Then we even offered rides to people, like from Penn Station. They would sit out there and have a guy on a PA system offering rides to your office, free rides, the courtesy of Grandma Sylvia's funeral. People would pile into the hearse. The driver was good because he would break down in the middle of 8th Avenue and create a situation that would get attention. And then also we did things on the radio where we would give free tickets if you could say where the hearse was at a given time. And then a couple of people would take rides, and he would tip me off. The driver was really good. He knew about publicity. So when he took Paul Schaefer for a ride, or Mayor Koch.
Mayor Koch, my God. Did you take him to a gay bath? I'm kidding.
That's where he took him.
I figured, yeah.
That's where he took him. But the hearse was really good, and then they did the stunt casting with Jade Barrymore and a few other people. It was great. I mean, Jade Barrymore got a ton of press because she was trying to outdo her daughter. Drew Barrymore was in Playboy, and then Jade, who was this stage mom from hell, she wanted to have a career as an actress, and her daughter was, a major star, and there she was not getting anything. So when she got to do this play in New York, oh my God, she was so excited. She was trying to, upstage her daughter being in this off-Broadway interactive comedy called Grandma Sylvia's Funeral, which was okay by me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Jade was really a trooper. I mean, she really loved, she loved getting that publicity. She did Howard Stern a lot. And then she would do things like, she got herself arrested one day, which was, I guess, accidental. But are these things really accidental, Rabbi?
Well, what was she arrested for?
She was arrested for possession of a loaded firearm in her purse, which was discovered when she and her 23-year-old boyfriend were arrested for putting posters in the subway for his band.
Wait. They can arrest you for putting posters in a subway?
Yeah, well, they stopped. That was, during Giuliani.
I guess.
So you couldn't do anything without getting arrested. Yeah, you got arrested. She got arrested. They stopped her for putting up posters illegally in the subway. On the post.
Yeah.
And she had a 357 Magnum in her purse, which she said she didn't remember that it was in there.
Well, she's a Republican. She's allowed,
We got the call at 3 in the morning that this happened, and again, it was the Post. It was Richard Johnson of the Post.
Right.
God, but I said, "What? How do you know this?" He says, "Well, we know these things." She was being booked for possession of a loaded firearm. So, that we got that into the press. Richard was very respectful. He gave the reason why she was new to New York, and while she was in California, where she was from, she needed this to protect herself. The gun was registered in California, so it was just an accident that it was still in her purse.
Okay. An accident, quote unquote. Well, who knows? Maybe. How could she get it on? I guess she could get it on a plane back then.
Yeah, and of course she was probably, cleaning it in the plane.
Very likely.
Nobody cared.
So Beck, tell us one more story of someone who was either really wonderful or really crazy difficult that you had to deal with in your years as a press agent.
Really difficult. Well, one of the things that I decided early on was that I wouldn't do Broadway, so that I wouldn't have to deal with too many stars and high pressure shows. That I would do the off Broadway and more fringier, offbeat shows, so that I wouldn't have to have these, work with these very demanding.
The egos and all that. I gotcha.
The big, so I actually have had a good time. I usually enjoy, working on the shows that I work on. But I have to say that in the past 10 years, my pride and joy as a press agent has been repping all these Yiddish plays.
Really? And by the way, what is your background? You are not Jewish. Unfortunately.
No.
What are you?
No, I'm not. I'm half WASP and half Italian. But I'm from New York, so, I drink the water.
Or you baptize people with it,
I'm a Jewish by association, and I'm open to that, there's something about having a goy press agent that the Jews really love. They love that.
You bring legitimacy.
Who goes and says to people, you're guilty. You're feeling guilty about your Jewishness. You got to get over that. Yiddish is not dead, and Yiddish is actually embedded in our culture.
Oh, sure.
What's your problem? Why wouldn't you go to a Yiddish play? Oh, because you don't speak Yiddish? Great reason. You know, so me talking to people like that in the media somehow it was better than having a Jew actually doing that.
Okay, and so Jews want to hire you because it's like belonging to a country club that we can't get into. It's like, I can't be a WASP, but I can pay a WASP to represent me. Even better.
Right.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
so,
no, and I play that up.
How did you even get into being a press agent in the first place?
Because I failed as a playwright.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Failed as a playwright.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what goes around comes around, because what happened is I realized that I was really not cutting it as a playwright and was never going to make it as a playwright. So what can I do in a situation like this? Well, become a press agent. There's actually absolutely no requirements, no skills necessary. You know, anybody can become a press agent if they just know how to talk their way out of a bag. And I did that, and I actually lived some life. I made some mistakes. I got married 3 times.
Whoa!
And yep,
wait a minute. What is it? See, if you're married one time and it fails, could be the other person. Second time, it's mutual. Third time, there's something wrong with you. What's wrong with you?
All 3 times there was something wrong with me.
Well, what is it?
No, it was my fault. I really needed to grow up, Rabbi. I was a kid, Arrested Development. I was really spoiled. I was really, I'm from the Upper West Side of New York, very privileged upbringing, good schools and everything. And I thought, it just, fell in, everything was just, the silver spoon, I had a silver everything. I had a silver jock strap, I had silver,
goodness.
So, I needed to get my ass kicked, and life, is great like that. And I finally, after 3 unsuccessful marriages, I seemed to notice that it was something that I was doing.
I guess. And you're only 27 years old. No, I'm kidding. But
I had to take responsibility for some of these poor choices. And what happened is I realized that having gone through all of that and become, a little bit more realistic about who I am and what I'm doing and how I was ruining my, wasting my life as a press agent, I realized that I should get back to writing plays and give it another shot. And that's what I'm doing now. Is actually writing better than way better than I would have been writing, or was writing when I started out, right out of college. I was terrible. I was a really bad writer.
Ooh, what? Why? Looking back on it, what was terrible about your early stuff?
It was self-indulgent. It was me trying to be clever all the time and make people think I was, I was trying to impress people. And I was writing, the characters were like cardboard characters that I was manipulating to say things that made me, look clever.
Sounds like the Democratic National Convention, but kidding. But now your latest play is something called Subprime, and that's sort of the one you're really trying to bank on and move forward.
Yeah, well, it actually is moving forward.
Ooh. And
I've been pushing it along, but a lot of people have gotten behind it. Very fine actors have gotten involved. People like Anna Lee Ashford and Celia Keenan Bolger and Emily Bergel and most recently Geneva Carr. These are great actors, and they agreed to be involved in readings and stuff, and the play has really come along. So, I'm a late bloomer, Rabbi. What can I tell you? But this is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, because I have a respect for my characters that I didn't have before. My characters tell me what they're thinking. They tell me what they're going to say, and they tell me to get the freak out of the way and let me talk.
But let me ask you, let's assume that you weren't terrible way back when. playwriting is still a crazy, impossible way to make a living. Are you set from your press agent years that you can put that aside and just be a playwright for now?
No.
Or are you still a press agent? What are you doing?
Desperate for money. I'm desperate for money, and I'm not...
Well, you're paying 3 alimony checks. Okay. Of course you are.
Yeah, well, that's right. I've got a lot of bills. I've got a lot of overhead here. No, I got to stay a press agent. I don't know, Rabbi. Luckily, I like being a press agent, and, I meet people in the theater all the time, and when I tell them that I'm a playwright, or they know, they usually are like, oh, that makes sense. But there's a little bit of a problem. People like to keep you in the category that they know you in.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a problem with that. But I don't care. I mean, I just am happy to have a shot at this point to do something more meaningful than being a press agent.
And you have access to the people who hopefully, God willing, can make it happen. Can I ask, what is the latest complete play that you have written? Because you've been working, I assume, on Subprime for a bit, and it's done.
Yeah.
Is there another one that you finished, or are you in the middle?
Yeah, I've finished 2.
Oh, my God. What are they?
2 others. I mean, I finished 2 others, so I have 3. Just as many plays as marriages at this point.
Well, I
have a play called God Save the Human Cannonball, and I got another play that I just been finishing up. I'm still working on it a little bit, tinkering with it, called Smartphones for Dummies.
Smartphones for Dummies. And are they both comedies?
Yeah, Smartphones for Dummies is a farcical comedy.
Okay.
Subprime is a dark comedy, and God Save the Human Cannonball is a drama with some comic moments, but it's a sweet, sentimental, rather poignant story about a family with a son who's going to college and a grandfather who used to be in the circus coming back after being away for 30 years.
Now, can I ask, is there a playwright who influenced you over the past, either in the early part of your career or more now? Someone, your one touchstone writer?
Wow. Well, I guess I have to say that I really love a lot of playwrights and like Tennessee Williams and Eugene O'Neill, and more recently, I think that Tracy Letts and this guy Ed Karam and Annie Baker now. I like people that are writing about real life, but with a sense of humor.
That sounds good, and we have had a great and humorous time talking to Beck Lee. Now, if people want to find out about your plays, or you as a press agent, do you have a website, a Facebook page? How do people find out about you?
Yeah, you could Google me, Beck Lee and Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
No, you could go to my website for my company. There's a little bit about the play Subprime on there. But my company is Media Blitz, and my website is MediaBlitz.biz, B-I-Z.
Media Blitz. I guess someone else had MediaBlitz.com by the time you got to it. MediaBlitz.biz. Now, one more question for Beck Lee, and it also involves promotion and stuff. Well, are there any fun stories? You once repped the Croatian Film Festival. Who knew? So...
Oh my God, that is a great memory.
Oh, is okay.
That
good.
was a flash in the pan. That lasted 1 second. That there was not a second annual Croatian Film Festival.
Really, surprised.
Except the first and only.
So, but do you have any? What was fun and memorable about representing that?
Well, it was actually happening during the war in the Balkans.
Oh God.
And the guy who organized it was trying to do something positive. So the guys, in Croatia were going to send the films, and it was the film board, and Croatia is kind of serious about filmmaking, so it wasn't like a small thing to send these films to New York. But because there was a war going on, sometimes we would have days where I had to wait for them to get a hold of these people in Croatia, because he would say to me, they can't talk to us today because of the war. And I'd say, what? he said, well, there's a war. They can't go to the office today because of the war.
Again, yeah, there's a bomb falling somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there's bombs falling. So then they sent some films, and they weren't all the films that I was promoting.
So they sent the wrong movies.
They sent the wrong movies, and my friend said, yeah, well, that's because somebody made a decision that was not going to reflect well on Croatian culture. So they replaced the movie with a different movie. And I said, that's gonna reflect well on Croatian?
Yeah, right.
That they would do that?
This sounds more like the Polish Film Festival, for crying out loud.
This is a former, these are former Yugoslavia. I don't know. They made decisions like that, Well, there was another story about that. I think it was the movie was called The Fox, but it was really called Chains. And I asked the guy, well, why did you ask me to call it The Fox? And he said, well, because it's the same word. I don't know if I'm remembering it right, but there was something about fox and chains being the same word in Croatian.
Croatia, so it could be. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Why do you bring that up?
I was curious that the idea of a Croatian film festival struck me as mildly amusing. And that's what your story was, mildly amusing.
Well, that was...
I should have kind of ended on a bigger thing there.
Yeah, no, this is a little bit of a letdown. Huh?
Well, all right, then let me change the last question for you. Why the hell are you living... If you are a press agent in New York, and have been for, I guess, 20-something years now, why are you half living in Minnesota?
Why?
Yes. It's called a question. I ask you, if you're trying to be don't you have to be in New York to represent New York theater?
Well, first sign of my willful disregard of propriety and how things are done was to move to Brooklyn. That was the first sign that I had a little bit of a problem, kind of being, going along with the conventional wisdom. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
No, now I'm in Brooklyn, and this is like the hottest place on the planet as far as, doing business, small, startups and stuff. But, Minneapolis is a beautiful city, and I love the winters out there. They're very, very pleasant. So I go out there and I freeze my butt off.
Right, yeah. Were you being sarcastic about the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to leave those kinds of jokes to Jews. You just goyim, Italians, maybe you're half Italian. That thing. You just don't even try. Sorry.
I should have denied that. I was being sarcastic. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do. You're the Bud Abbott in the situation. That's the thing. You got to let the other person be the Costello. You're the set-up guy, the straight man, the straight face, and then just a hint for the future.
Okay. All right. Well, you learn something important every day.
I don't. I haven't learned anything in 25 years. Not a fucking thing. Nothing. But I have learned that you are full of stories and delight and talent. So, Beck Lee, all I can say is to wish you much success with Subprime and the Human Cannonball play, all the plays that you are writing. Continued good luck with the shows that you are representing as a press agent, and health and good fortune, even if you have to live in a place like Minnesota.
Oh, thank you for your many blessings, Rabbi. I'm so touched by what you just said.
Go touch Boy Gary again. I'm sure he'd like it. But anywho, thank you again, and shalom to you.